a long line of black Scottish stewards.
He came from a long line of who?
Black Scottish stewards.
So did you know that it was black kings in Europe? Did you know that history?
Teach.
You definitely knew that. Okay, we're reading about one of them right now. King James.
That's right.
King James was a black king. Read on.
Kings. 343 years of rulership in Scotland. The Stuarts not only ruled in Scotland, they ruled France, Spain, Ireland, in England, Britain, Wales.
See, all those parts in Europe. We ruled Europe at one point.
That's right.
This is our history we're talking about. We're talking about black history.
That's right. Big on history.
Read on.
King James was able to rule all of these lands because of these people of Iberian black descent.
So he ruled. Guess who else was in that area? Black people. We lived in Europe. We ruled Europe.
Right.
We was the nobles. Guess what? We was the knights.
Right.
Hey, listen up, my brother. Listen to this.
All right.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Yeah.
What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision?
Read verse 3.
Verse 3. For what if some did not believe?
So we're reading the Bible, right? So it says, for what if some did not believe, right? Read on.
Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
So it's saying, just because you don't believe doesn't make the Bible false? Read. What's the answer to that?
God forbid.
So the answer is no. Read on.
That's right.
Yea,
That's right.
let God be true, but every man a liar.
Read that part again.
Let God be true,
So it says, let God be true.
but every man a liar.
So it says, let God be true and every man a liar. So we've been lied to. That's the point the officer trying to bring out.
Right.
We've been lied to. So
Right.
look, it's the King James Bible.
Right.
King James Version. Yes. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hold on. Hold on. It says, like, read that part again. Let God be what?
Let God be true.
So what does that have to do with who wrote the Bible? It said that God be true.
Right.
Let God be true. So give me another version that goes against this. Let God be true and every man a lie. Don't men lie?
I'm just
Bring it up.
Like, I
No.
won't even read from the King James version.
But
Me just knowing who King James is.
well, who is King James? Who is he?
Teach.
Motherfucker that I don't fuck with.
Well, who is he? Come on. Why?
He's not a good person.
Why is he not a good
Let's just say
person?
that. He's not a good person.
Why is he not a good
Someone
person?
that kills and someone that do gay stuff and all this that.
Oh, okay. So King James was a homosexual. That's what they say, right? Hey, pull the page up about the Zonovan about the King James. Let's see what King James did. So that's a
Bring it
false.
out.
That's a false narrative. That's not real. Let me show you what King James did. Yes.
What King James?
Read that.
Not just. Don't give me just something.
No. We about to read the King James Bible.
Everybody on this block and then go down the street and feed everybody on the neck.
Let me show you what King James did. We gonna show you what King James did.
Bring it out.
My brother, can we? Okay, good. I understand where you're coming from, because we heard these things before too. We heard that King James was a homosexual, but let's read this. Let's see how King James. Let's see what King James did.
This is the Zonovan Compact Bible Dictionary under Bible, page 86, King James Version.
Hey, do we got the book with that show the picture of King James out of there? Find that.
Teach.
Matter of fact, let me ask you, what color was King James? You couldn't tell me. What if I told you he was a black man? Did you ever hear that before?
I've never heard of it.
All right, we gonna find it. If you got the book there, read that again.
King James Version. When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown passed to James I, who had been king of Scotland for 37 years.
So he was king of Scotland, of the United Kingdom. He was the last black king. Let me show you a picture of King James. Come here. That's King James right there. What he look like to you?
Oh,
Black man.
I mean, that's a black and white picture.
But brother, come on, look, come here, come closer.
That's a black and white
Man,
picture.
bro, okay, only for you.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Look at this. What's the Negro Question Part 4, The Missing Link? That's the title of this book. The Negro Question Part 4. This is the Part 4 series of the Negro Question, because the questions was, who was really King James? Was he really a homosexual?
Right.
But right now we have an image of him right here. This is the King James.
Right.
He was the last ruler of Scotland, the United Kingdom, with England and Wales and Ireland.
Bring it out.
He was the last ruler. the black man.
That's right.
And we have his picture right here. Matter of fact, let's read that part right there before we go there. Read that part. And we're going to go to the King James Bible.
That's right.
Come on, right there, highlight.
King James came from a long line of black Scottish stewards.
He came from a long line of who?
Black Scottish stewards.
So did you know that it was black kings in Europe? Did you know that history?
Teach.
You definitely knew that. Okay, we're reading about one of them right now. King James.
That's right.
King James was a black king. Read on.
Kings. 343 years of rulership in Scotland. The Stuarts not only ruled in Scotland, they ruled France, Spain, Ireland, and England, Britain, Wales.
See, all those parts in Europe. We ruled Europe at one point.
That's right.
This is our history we're talking about. We're talking about black history.
I'm big on history. I'm big on history.
Read on.
King James was able to rule all of these lands because of these people of Iberian black descent.
So he ruled. Guess who else was in that area? Black people. We lived in Europe. We ruled Europe.
Right.
We was the nobles. Guess what? We was the knights.
Right.
Why they call us knights?
Bring it
I
out.
don't know. Tell me. Right?
Okay, what color sky? What's the color of the sky at night?
It's dark.
Okay, that's why they was called knights.
That's right.
Because we was those knights.
Right.
We was those noblemen.
That's right.
Read on.
That was it on that.
So we read that King James, first and foremost, was a black man.
Right.
So now we're going to tell you what King James did. Now we go to the Zondervan.
When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown was passed to James I, who had been king of Scotland for 37 years, as James IV, several months after he ascended the thrones of England, he authorized the new translation of the Bible.
Yeah, he said he authorized the new translation.
New translation.
He authorized the new translation. You translated from one language to another. At one point, the Bible was in Hebrew and Latin and Greek.
Right.
So all he did was authorize the translation.
So how did the slave stuff get in there? And explain.
We gonna explain that to you. I'm gonna show you how you I'm gonna show you how you translate the Bible. Let me show you. 47.
47 of the best Hebrew Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups.
So you have 47 Hebrew scholars. They was separated into 4 groups because he authorized the translation. Because like I said before, it was translated from Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. So all he did was authorize the translation. He got some Hebrew scholars, those who was fluent in the Hebrew language, those who was fluent in the Greek language. Read on.
3 for the Old Testament, 2 for the New, and 1 for the Apocrypha.
So he had them teams break off to translate the Old Testament and the New Testament and the Apocrypha. Have you ever heard of the Apocrypha? When you read this right here, King James with the Apocrypha, it was 14 books taken out of the Bible, the original Bible, by the Protestant church.
Teach.
So there's the missing link right there. If you take books out the Bible, you're not going to have the full understanding of the Bible.
Right.
So with that being said,
Things out, you don't think they added things to fit their narrative the way they wanted it to?
I'm going to prove you some more. But right now,
I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking.
not in this Bible, he authorized the translation.
That's right.
Now everything, there's nothing added in the Bible. You got different versions. You have the NIV, you have the NIV, you have all these different versions, but that's why we have to come to the King James, because this is the authorized translation. This is the authentic translation right here.
That's right.
And we read right there, he had 47 scholars who was fluent in the language, right? So they translate the Bible. And I want to make a point too, what you just stated, because you said they add some things. So you understand that King James, he authorized the translation, he was a black man.
Gotcha.
All right, so,
I hear you telling me.
okay, good.
I do a little more research.
Okay, good. That's fine. So I'm going to read a passage out the Bible for you. Let's get Exodus 21 and 16. And I want you to know what you think about this right here. So if they took things out the Bible, I want you to explain why they kept this part in here. Read that. Exodus 21 and 16.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth a man,
Now I want you to look at this as we read this Bible right here. Read that again.
and he that stealeth a man,
So if you steal a man, read,
and selleth him,
and sell him. Now, who that happened to in history? Who was stolen and who was sold?
Us?
Us.
That's right.
So let's see what the Bible says about that. The same Bible that you said was tampered with.
And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
You shall be what?
Put to death.
So what's the judgment according to what we just read if you steal someone and sell them? Like we were sold, what's the judgment?
Bring it out.
Yeah.
So wait a minute though, why is that in the Bible? How come they ain't take this out the Bible?
Bring it out.
We ain't gonna stop there though. I want to hear from you now before we continue on. If the Bible was tampered with, you would thought that verse would have been taken out the Bible.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's
It's
right.
just a lot of different things.
Now you just saying, come on, let's deal with this right here though.
No, I hear you, but
Let's deal with that.
I couldn't tell you.
That's next.
I wasn't there when they was making it, but what I do know is it's just a lot of things that don't sit right.
But
And like me as a human being, I'm a human being.
so what don't sit right with you? Because your issue was King James, and we just showed you that he was a black man and he authorized the translation. But let's deal with that again. Read that again.
A lot of different things.
We ain't gonna stop there.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
So contrary to what you heard, what you think about that verse? Don't you think it'll make sense? Don't you think it's common logic if they want to tamper with anything? Don't you think they want to take that part out the Bible?
That's right. Bring it out.
Well, it would make sense, but at the end of the day, I don't know if they was thinking like that.
Okay, let's stop you right there.
I get your point.
So we gonna continue. I'm gonna continue to build my case because this ain't just coincidence that's in there. There's plenty more in there. Read Revelation. We gonna go to the last book. And by the way, I told you they took out 14 books out the original Bible. By the way, go to Revelation 14. No, 13. 9.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
So the Bible says, if you have ears, if you got understanding, listen to this right here.
He that leadeth into captivity,
You that what?
he that leadeth into captivity.
So, was not people led into captivity? On cargo slave ships, picking cotton? On slavery, getting our backs whipped? Our women getting raped, our men getting raped, our children taken away from us? It said, he that do that thing, what's going to happen to them?
Shall go into captivity.
Shall what?
Shall go into captivity.
What that sound like to you?
Jail.
Jail. More than jail, the same thing that happened to us is going to happen to them.
That's right.
The white, we are the Israelites according to the Bible. So we're talking about God's judgment. So we're trying to debunk things that we've been taught about the Bible not being true, things of that such. So we're reading out scriptures that you would think will be common sense to take them out if they want to hide the truth. So we read one, he that steal a man and sell him should get put to death. Now we read this part again. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall, what's going to happen to them?
Shall go into captivity.
So the same way we was led into captivity, who led us into captivity? Who put us in slavery? The white people, yes.
That's right.
So it's the Bible saying, if you do that, what's the white man's judgment? He gonna go into slavery.
That's right.
But we read out the same Bible that we've been told was tampered with. Why is that in there?
No, but,
What you mean? Well,
but from what I know, we the ones still going through the same stuff. From what I see.
for what you see. But this is the judgment.
I'm supposed to be putting them to death, but I see a lot of motherfuckers dying more so.
The-
According to the Bible, you understand me? You don't see what I see?
But that's where it comes with change. We have to change. Finish up. We have to change. We ain't did nothing.
We ain't did nothing to become that.
Read Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Let's find out. We have to take accountability now. Now it's time to take accountability.
That's right.
28 and 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15.
Bring it out.
But it shall come to pass,
It shall come to pass.
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
So hearken means to listen. So if we don't listen to God, what's going to happen?
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
So check it out. Like the officer was saying, these are the commandments of God. He said if we didn't listen and keep his commandments, what's going to happen?
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
He said that all these curses shall come upon us and overtake us. And I heard you say that curse is a bad thing. So now we about to read some of these curses and see if they line up with our history.
Bring it out.
Go to 49.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
It said the Lord Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
It seems like God got a vendetta against us, though.
He got a vendetta because we didn't listen to him.
Why is it in nations?
We just told you why. We didn't keep the commandments.
I just feel like that don't make sense.
It don't make sense?
You created me.
Okay.
I'm now going against you. I'm disobeying.
Okay.
How do you make that possible? How do you get? You see the state black people in today?
But we gotta take. Okay.
How do we get to this state? You understand me? You're the creator.
Uh-huh.
You understand me? You created this. How do we get to this state?
How do we get
And
to?
then you tell us we getting this, that, and the third. Gonna happen to us if we do this, that, and the third. Like, oh, God, you do this and whatever. You're going against God. I'm gonna send foreign nations to come take over.
We got to this point first and foremost because we didn't keep the commandments.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word